Yo, this your boy EC22 of the FairWeather Fan Channel, man. Listen, real quick, we're about to do this live podcast. What am I about? I'm already doing it. Anyway, but y'all, no, check it out, man, real quick. A week of sports. Last week, man, we had a lot of great action that was going on when it comes down to sports, man. But before I go any further, man, subscribe, share, leave comments, join the community. This is your boy EC22. This is the FairWeather Fan Channel, YouTube, podcast, and YouTube channel. But anyway, man, before I get into all my thoughts about what happened in sports as of last week, as we're approaching the second week of NFL football, I want to give a quick shout out to Big U Sports Leagues. A guy named Pat, he owns the Big U Sports League. It's the old school Pop Warner football league, little league, but it's called Big U Sports League, man. Shout out to Pat and all that he's doing. And one of the teams in that league is the Triple D Wolverines, man, by my brother Big D. He's one of the coaches of the Triple D Wolverines, man. Man, I appreciate all you guys do, along with the guys who actually cover those little league sports, because man, if you're ever in a little league, man, these guys are getting a lot of fanfare, man. There are a lot of people that are just invested their time and energy. Like I say, a guy named Kiva Rush, he does a rush hour to cover these little league sports. Also, What's Your Heart Be Like, and then Hall of Fame TV, man. Darian Polk, he goes out there on the field and get footage for these kids. I mean, you're talking about these kids are getting exposed to what it's going to be like down the line if they ever make it to the pros, whatever. The fact that they get coverage, all this type of stuff. But here's a video clip by the Triple D Wolverines, man. One of their commercials, man, for Triple D Wolverines. Check it out.
Welcome to the Triple D Wolverines 2023 football season. We out here at the YMCA on Hampton. If you have any kids looking for a football home, please come check us out. The Triple D Wolverines, we practice Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays, so come out and check us out and enjoy greatness.
And so that was Hall of Fame TV who helped do that video and do that commercial. But like I say, man, watching the coach, that's my twin brother, Big D, and seeing the energy they put out for these young kids, man, I mean, y'all, it's nothing short of amazing. And we see the stuff we see on Netflix and stuff like that, with Snoop Dogg's league and stuff like that, man. But y'all, this right here in our Metroplex, man, if you got any kids that want to get into football, little league, man, holla out to a big league, Big U Sports League. They have several teams over there, but if you more specifically, if you know you want to join the squad, go ahead and hit up Triple D Wolverines, man. Follow Big D on his Facebook page or whatnot. But anyway, yo, moving on to sports, that is the Little League coverage. Man, this Friday night, I will be, the FairWeather Fan, will be visiting McKinney ISD Stadium for the McKinney Board and Allen Eagle football game. So, man, there we have it. We got youth, we got high school, jumping into college, man. Last week's overview of what we saw in college. As you already know, I'm a Big 12 fan. So that's what we're going to cover. Yeah, there may be some exciting things in the top 25, but I'm your boy EC22, the FairWeather Fan. We are Big 12 fans, and to cover the Big 12 football, man, let me go ahead and start out with the amazing win the Texas Longhorns put out on Alabama. That whooping they gave them. And I love it. Now, that just makes it harder for me to watch Texas leave when they leave the Big 12 next year. But it was a butt whipping like none other, man. I appreciate Texas. It dropped them up to the number 4 spot. So And Texas Tech almost beat Oregon. It almost doesn't count, right? But no, Texas Tech almost got Oregon. So Big 12, we coming. And then, we got to talk about the Sooners. I'm a Sooner fan. They're 2-0 right now, but it was an ugly win against SMU, but they pulled it out anyway. So there you have it, Big 12 football. Let's jump on into week one, last week, week one NFL recap. Y'all, listen, we're going to do it this way, all right? We're going to do it this way. So here's a question I'm going to ask. The question is, which team had the most disappointing loss? And I chose them for you. Chiefs, Bengals, or the Vikings? Which team? My thoughts on that one, you can get yours if you're if you're listening, you can get your opinion in. But I went with the Cincinnati Bengals. It's simple now. To talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, that was not Patrick Mahomes' fault. They had an oppressive game. It's just the fact that they couldn't get it done, as well as Max agreed with me and saying the Bengals had the worst disappointing loss. They couldn't get it in because of receivers wasn't catching the ball. I mean, so that's not on Cincinnati. That's not on Patrick Mahomes. That's on them goddamn receivers, I wanted to say Minnesota at first. But at the end of the day, I mean, Justin Jefferson did his thing, and he got his yardage. So it's almost, they put up points, they put up numbers. It just couldn't get it done. So at the end of the day, you got to go with Bengals, man. Only 3 points. It was just bad. 82 yards by who was supposed to be the number 2 quarterback in the whole league. Yeah, that's very, 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 very disappointing loss on that. Going down to the next question is, which team had the most impressive win? Cowboys, 49ers, or the Dolphins? And I know some of you Cowboy haters out there are hard on this one, but it is obviously the Dallas Cowboys for a lot of number of reasons. Number one, because they put up the most points anybody last week, so therefore they get it by default. So with that being said, listen, you would like to think maybe the 49ers, but they're playing Pittsburgh. Not to throw any shade at Pittsburgh Steelers fans, but the Dolphins against the Chargers, you want to talk about because they were against, because they're playing against the Chargers with Kellen Moore offense, and it was a really good game. But at the end of the day, man, what Dallas defense did is to me is the game of the week. And speaking of the Chargers game, in the Dolphins win over the Chargers, who will you give the game ball to, Tyreek Hill or Tua Tagovailoa? In that situation right there. Somebody is trying to call. I don't know what they're trying to get into this live with me or whatever, but I don't know who that is. Somebody from Frisco. Don't know who that is. But anyway, I would say what Matt's got to say, Dolphins, Cowboys, and 49ers are expected to win. Oh, wow. That's a little bit of shade throwing right there. But wait, Matt, going back to the previous question, I would give it to Tyreek Hill in that situation for the simple fact that, yes, Tua threw the ball, but there's a lot of other people threw the ball to. He threw the ball to several different receivers. I don't know why this thing is really messing up my life right now. But nobody was calling me all day long. Also, they want to wait till I get on live and start calling. I'm so sorry, y'all, for this disruption. But at the end of the day, I give it to Tyreek Hill because the man when he went balled out, 200 yards receiving, man. That's what's up. So we give it to Tyreek Hill. Moving on along to this question here, and I want to really, really, really think about this one. How do we get the Green Bay Packers versus Chicago Bears and the LA Rams versus Seattle game wrong? How do we get that game wrong? Anybody got any questions on that? Because a lot of people actually picked Chicago to win against Green Bay, and a lot of people picked Seattle to beat the Rams. And obviously, it didn't work the way people thought it would work. So, what are we saying here? What are we doing? The reason why I say we got it wrong, because at the end of the day, I think, first of all, the voodoo of Aaron Rodgers is still over there in Soldier Field. I think because even though he is not playing with Green Bay no more, I still think that mojo or voodoo he left over in that stadium is still there, because Jordan Love looked great. He looked great. And all the people he was throwing into, we didn't know none of these people. At least I didn't know none of them. He looked great. I mean, Aaron Rodgers took Cobb, he took Lazard, he took his offensive coordinator. Everything went with him to the Jets, and he left Jordan Love with nothing. And Jordan Love made some fantasy guys out of those guys. But anyway, when it came down to the Rams in Seattle, I told you. Now, I picked Seattle to win, but I told you, are we going to see a lot more from Geno Smith, what we saw last year? And I'm not saying it's his fault, but Matt Stafford had a lot to say about don't count him out. That Rams defense said, hey, we still here. So we all got it wrong. The Rams was ranked number 27th overall coming into the season. So there you have it, folks. I don't know how we got it wrong, but we got it wrong. And we're moving on from that. Aaron Rodgers gets hurt. We all know that, right? It's very, very sad. And, I'm a Robert Salah fan. I really am. Anybody know me? My three favorite coaches in the whole league is Robert Salah. Who to say? Oh, that's my boy. What up, Joe? What up, Gerald? Yo, what up, my boy? Like I said, my favorite coaches are Robert Salah, obviously Mike Tomlin, and my guy out of Detroit. I'm drawing a blank. Can't think of his name. I'll think of it in a minute. But anyway, the coach out of Detroit. So those are my favorite coaches. I like what Robert Salah done, even though they lost Aaron Rodgers. But it's a next man up situation with him. He's been having Zach Wilson over on the bench for a while. He's had him last year, had to bench him, but at the end of the day, I think he's going to get it done. At the end of the day, he's going to get it done. Now, question, which QB stunk the worst? And I'm only going to give you two. It's either out of Joe Burrow or Josh Allen. Josh Allen, he had some yardage, but those 3 interceptions and a fumble, I mean, all on him. It was all on him. As much as the Bengals had a very disappointing loss, but Josh Allen, I was going to give this actually to Joe Burrow until I heard Josh Allen's post-game comments when he come out there and said, yeah, man, it's more of the same. And he was speaking of himself. And yet he keep doing the same old thing. Josh Allen is a top 5 quarterback, and he can't keep doing these type of situations. And I'm on the verge of dropping him from my fantasy league. For those of you who are in my fantasy league, and one guy in particular has been asking me for Josh Allen. After this week, we'll see, because he's really pissing me off. And not just only him throwing an interception, but him not want to fall. The dude is going out there and acting like he's running back and going head full of steam instead of slide or diving. He's taking the hits, and I just don't like that from him. I don't like it from him. I think he's reckless, and I think he's out. And Max jumps in. And he said he takes Josh Allen is overrated. He's been saying that for the longest. Yeah, we're not going to fight that fight, Max. I don't think he's overrated. Maybe he is. I don't know. Y'all tell me what who should be who should just pursue for the quarterback position? That is a good question. That is a good question. Honestly, I'm going to say this. And it's a secret. Don't nobody tell nobody what I'm about to say. This just between us and me and the people that are watching. I thought Trey Lance would be a good spot for quarterback of the Jets. I'm just saying. Trey Lance. But that's all I'm going to say about that. But when it comes down to, since my man, who if you see this, he's an Eagles fan, I want to ask him a question this right here. When you look at what we saw this Sunday between the Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys, are the Eagles defense and the Cowboy defense as good as advertised? And this is kind of a rhetorical question because we saw what the Cowboys defense did, right? Scored on defense, didn't give up any points. And then the Eagles struggled, with the weak team. So we go into this season, the Eagles defense was ranked higher than the Cowboys. I know they're saying the Cowboys playing the Giants, blah, 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 but whatever. Are the Eagles defense as good as advertised? And I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this. Yes, they are as good as advertised. It was raining. you know, Max, who's an Eagles fan, he made a good point when we talked about this last week. He said that he believed that Bill Belichick had a plan for the Eagles. And by dog, he was right. He was right. He was right. He couldn't get no righter, you know. But yet the Eagles did pull up a win. Even against Bill Belichick's scheme, they found a way to win that game because that's what Bill Belichick is. Brian Daboll didn't have a plan for the Cowboys. So anyway, if he did have a plan, it didn't work. So, but yeah, I still believe the Eagles defense are as good as advertised. You know, it just sometimes, you know, when somebody do their homework and, you know, it's a chess game, right? But I think the Eagles will bounce back next week, this coming week. Y'all, that's all I have. Once again, we're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers and the sad. My heart goes out to him. My heart goes out to the New York Jets. Like I said, I like Robert. So like Dan Campbell is the coach of the Detroit Lions. I'm sorry I couldn't get that out. But Dan Campbell is the coach of the Detroit Lions. I like him. That's why, I wanted Kansas City to win that game, but to watch Dan Campbell celebrate with his team. And that's why I love him. If you watch Dan Campbell, when the team won, he's with the guys. He's hugging, he's jumping, he's loving, he's running on the field. When that kid ran the ball back in overtime against the Bills in the Jets, man, did you see Robert Salah in the end zone, diving on everybody, impact? You can't help but to love a coach like that. He's a defensive-minded coach, and he gave it to Josh Allen and that squad over there, Sean McDermott. He gave it to him. But anyway, yo, this your boy C22. This is live. FairWeather Fan Podcast, man. I think we are, what's going on right here? It says, what do you expect tomorrow during the first half of the game? This is a rhetorical question. This is a very, very rhetorical question because if you don't know, the Philadelphia Eagles are playing the Minnesota Vikings tomorrow, and he want me to answer this question. It's simple. What I expect, the way Minnesota, where they played the other day, heck, it's going to be a beatdown. I expect it at least to be a 2 to 3 point lead going into halftime. So therefore, me and Max will going live halftime for the week 2 picks. I'm going to get my week 2 pick in for this particular game. That's tomorrow night. Will be the Eagles. I'm pretty sure he got the Eagles on this one as well. So, and then we'll give the rest of the picks during the halftime. So, man, those of you who are watching, please join us tomorrow at halftime of the Philadelphia Eagles game and the Minnesota Vikings. At halftime, we're going to give our weekly picks. So that's it. We're out. This your FairWeather, your boy. What am I doing? This your boy EC22, the FairWeather Fan Channel, man, and we are out, man. Thank you guys for watching. Once again, I apologize for all the people that decided they want to call me in the middle of a live, which that don't happen. But anyway, yo, join us tomorrow night during halftime of the Eagles and Vikings game. We're going to give our weekly picks, and we are out. Let's see what he's saying right now. My brother is saying need Philly. Wait a minute. Max, Derek, I know you probably be on the football field. If y'all don't know, Big D, that's my brother of the Triple D Wolverines. We showed their video earlier today. So if you're not on the field coaching those kids, man, we want to say, why you on here live? I want to get you on here and give you your flowers, man. It is amazing what you do with those kids, the patience you have for those young men out there. All of you guys, from you, Coach Gill, and all the coaches of Triple D Wolverine, from Pat Boozy for Big U Sports Leagues, as well as the guys that are covering it, like Kiva Rush, as well as Holla TV, man. I appreciate you guys for all that you do for you Little League sports, man. We always hear about the great high school coaches. We always hear about the great college coaches, but it's not enough that we hear about the Little League and middle school coaches, man. And Big D, you will have an NFL player that you will coach in that league. I already know it. I believe I'm speaking to his instance, man. Big D, continue to do what you do. But if you're available to join us at halftime of the Philadelphia, he's asking me a personal question. Max, how did you do in fantasy football? The reason why he's asking the question because he beat me in 2 leagues. Enough of that. Anyway, this is your boy C22, the FairWeather Fan Channel. We are out. Thank you. See us tomorrow, halftime for Weekly Pick'em, and we're out.